Tonight's top story, serenity and security shattered in a small community. The deadly shooting spree that became a standoff ended this morning, but several questions remain unanswered tonight as police now continue to dig deeper into just why this all happened. Let's bring you the facts first now. It began yesterday morning in the villages of Mohawk and Herkimer, about an hour west of here. Police say that Kurt Myers set his apartment in Mohawk on fire and then set out on a kill spree. His first stop, a barber shop right near his home. Police say that he fired off a shotgun, killing 2 people and wounding 2 others. Myers then drove to Herkimer, they say, where he opened fire at an oil change and car wash shop, killing 2 more victims. Nearby schools went into lockdown as police began their manhunt for Myers. Police began to close in on him surrounding a block of businesses in Herkimer, and they sat there all night long until shots rang out from a building basement around 8 o'clock this morning, and Myers and police then exchanged gunfire. A police dog was killed in the fight, but police were able to take down Myers permanently, shooting and killing him. Now that the situation is over, people in the community and all over the state are wondering just what led Myers down this deadly road. What, if anything, sparked this murderous rampage? Well, our Matt Markham has spent the entire day in Herkimer trying to find out more about Myers, and he's live there now to tell us just what people are saying tonight. Matt?
Dory, they're saying what could possibly drive somebody to kill in these 2 towns. They want to know more about that suspect, Kurt Myers. Very little was known about him. Very little is known about him. Somebody considered a loner.
He would casually take walks early in the morning, and I try to say gestures to him such as good morning and how are you today, and he would just continue on the walk by. And I thought he just was one of those type of guys that just didn't want to deal with other people.
A sentiment shared in a part of the Mohawk Valley where everybody knows each other, except apparently for Kurt Myers.
At this time, we don't think so. We think they were unprovoked and random.
The state police commissioner believed Myers was in trouble for driving while ability impaired in the 1970s. For about 20 years, he worked at a textile plant with Steve Copperwheat. He and I spoke by phone late this afternoon. Copperwheat describes Myers as
a bit nervous. He tended to do everything at double speed. He'd talk fast, walk fast.
He says Myers got along with people, but the last time Copperwheat saw Myers, he said it was as if Myers didn't want anyone to know he was around.
Just a little strange for Kurt. He looked at me like he hardly knew me and told me he was retired, and he just kept right on walking.
Around Myers' now burnt-out home, shock over the man they say lived here about 6 years, and sadness.
This guy, he always was quiet, never really too friendly, but when you seen him, his eyes were just like he saw too much. He was just never friendly.
What you're looking at now at the 6 o'clock hour is Main Street in front of Glory Days. It's an abandoned bar where the standoff ended early this morning. As far as we know, there's still an investigation that's continuing inside there. That's why you see the police presence and nobody being allowed to go down that way. We understand that Mr. Myers had a shotgun when he was in there and possibly some extra ammunition. What is still unknown at this point is if he had any other guns, at least to his name, Dory.
Well, Matt, we mentioned how Myers had set fire to his home, really starting this whole thing off. But it was a multifamily home, so just what happened with those other families living there?
As far as I know, I can't imagine that they're there at this point, Dory. When we were over there this afternoon talking to neighbors in that part of Mohawk, Washington Street in Mohawk, you could see that there were investigators taking large beams, charred debris out of that house. But the neighbors in the area tell me he lived there about 6 years. And at this moment, there were 2 other young families living in that house. One of them, we're told, had a 9-month-old baby with them in that apartment building as well, Dory.
Hard to imagine. All right, Matt Markham reporting live tonight in Herkimer. Thank you. Greg?